My favorite player growing up was either Fausto Carmona, but I love you, Fausto. You know, I kind of throw just like you and everything two-seam, but now I'd have to go with Lincecum just because he's just too dirty. I'm sorry, but that's Lincecum.
Now, Tim Lincecum, dirty indeed, and if Joe Gardner's anything like Lincecum here, the Indians organization is going to be very, very pleased. But we're kind of focusing on these pitchers in Kinston. Of course, Joe Gardner won, T.J. McFarland. We've talked about both of them today. Now, more on T.J. McFarland. Let's go down to Kinston. Chris Haymeyer has this week's Focus on the Future.
The obvious question to start off with, TJ, boy, what a start to this year. Talk about how this year has gone from your perspective.
It's been a perfect year so far. The success I'm having, it's just great. The team's been great defense behind me. We're starting to play well too. So, you know, it's just an exciting year. Very exciting.
It's interesting for you because this is your first year in the Carolina League, of course, at Lake County before that. What are the first things you really noticed moving up a level like you did this season?
The hitters. Hitters are very patient. You're not going to get away with pitches that you might have the previous levels, or you know, pitches on the outside corner may not be called strikes as they were at the previous level too. So everything kind of gets squeezed, and the hitters are much better at this level. So.
You've had an interesting start to this season as well. Although you are a starter and have the innings log that starters do, you had a piggybacking situation, which sounds a little silly to those that don't know that much about baseball out there, but basically Nick Hagedorn would start, and he had a limited number of innings and pitches, so you knew you were probably going to come in the third or fourth inning, and you were going to go really as long as you could. Talk about that aspects of things, getting the start, but sort of coming out of the bullpen.
I mean, anytime you don't start a game, it's different than when starting a game. But the way the Indians set it up, where I knew exactly when I was pitching, so I wasn't really 100% out of the bullpen because I knew when I was going to pitch and what day. But there's a difference there. Warming up, you have to take less time. And one of the games I had to come in the first, which I wasn't ready for. But it's just something that I dealt with all right, and now I get to start. So. I'm excited about that.
Maybe let people know out there, you talk about coming in from the bullpen, you obviously don't have that much time to start. When you do actually start, talk about the whole process. You really start warming up about 2-3 hours before the game.
Yeah, it's a whole day process. I have a routine, certain things that I eat at certain times.
All right, you gotta tell us what this is now, the superstitions up there.
Well, I don't really have a superstition with food, but I eat exactly like 4 hours before the game. And then I show up and probably have like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right before I go out. But I head out to the game and start warming up about 35 minutes before the game, depending on if we're home or away. So probably a 5-minute difference there.
Those that haven't seen you pitch, what kind of pitcher are you? What are the pitches that you use? What are kind of your staples in your repertoire?
I'm mainly a sinker ball pitcher. That's what I mainly throw. My fastball has a lot of sink to it, so I'll get a lot of ground balls, a lot of double plays. I'll be low in the zone. I don't typically throw upper 90s. I throw about 87, 89. So I locate the fastball, and then I have a changeup and a slider as well. So.
You are a guy that came out of high school, was drafted by the Cleveland Indians. I would assume that has to be a very terrifying and a very interesting decision you make. Of course, you had offers to go to a lot of places, D1 and in college. Maybe take us back to that senior year in high school, kind of what your thought process was and how well it's worked for you.
Well, my senior year of high school, I came out throwing very well, so of course I had some looks for colleges, and I actually committed to the University of Missouri. And my thought process was, if we didn't get drafted, or if I didn't get drafted, then I could always go to college. But the Indians picked me up, and the thought process was, I can't pass this up. I have to take this opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity. So I took it, and here we are now. So.
I always think the most interesting aspect of guys that were drafted out of high school, here you are, probably 18, 19 years old. You just, walked with your class about a month ago, and here you are sitting with a bunch of guys in some rookie ball camp in Arizona or Florida, or shipped to some sort of rookie team somewhere. A little scary at the beginning there?
It's very intimidating because, I was playing with guys that were 2-3 years older than I was, that may have been in baseball longer than I have. So I kind of just, I rolled with the punches and kind of just stayed quiet and watched and learned as much as I could. And but it's a scary thing for an 18, 19-year-old kid living on their own for the first time. So it's pretty tough.
Well, Chris, thanks a lot for that insight, on TJ McFarland. But you look at this kid, he came out of high school, but at the same time, Ross mentioned earlier, he pitches a lot like Aaron Laffey. And, to have a young lefty like that coming up through the system is awesome to see because he's doing everything the right way on the field right now.
Now he's a 4th-round pick, and he's pitching much better than that right now. All right, we'll take a break for the final time here with Indians Minor League Magazine. When we come back, we'll give you our final thoughts. Check out Affiliate Day at Eastwood Field. Also, when we come back, you can see where the Tribes farm teams are going to play this week. Don't go away.
Beautiful. 26, 36 feet up.
Standings check for you for the Indians minor league teams. Columbus still blowing them away there in the International League West. Then we take a look at the schedule. Columbus and Akron have the All-Star games. Kinston has a couple of games, a couple of different teams this week. Lake County as well, and then Mahoning Valley on the road at Brooklyn before coming home to face Williamsport. And we're about out of time here with Indians Minor League Magazine. Jay, good show today.
It was fun.
It was. Okay, that's it. We're done. We'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, every Tuesday, 6 o'clock, it's a new edition of Indians Minor League Magazine. We leave you with a look at Crash and Lucille leading the dance at Huntington Park. For Jason Stanford, I'm Al Pulowski. Find us on Facebook. Have a good one.